To get up and talk about what he had been doing, which was compiling files from HP-41 programs in the PPC journal. He had approached me months before that saying, you think that material might be worthwhile on our PPC DVD archive disk, because he was creating barcode for every program, especially the ones that either had no barcode or the barcode was unreadable when you printed from the disk. Originally, everything was scanned at 300 dots per inch, which is nowhere near accurate enough for printed versions to scan. So he had worked, I think, volumes 6 through 10 at that time, and when I realized this treasure trove of information, I said, yeah, this is going to be great stuff, but I got to figure out how to merge it into my disk. I assume, are there a bunch of people here who are not familiar with the PPC DVD project? There's a few, okay. Well, what is PPC? Okay, well, in any case.
How well do you go?
Yeah, all right. So the project started in 1998, so it's actually 15 years old now, and it's been evolving, and we keep adding more stuff. But the goal was to collect all of the English language user group newsletters from everywhere we could get our hands on, in addition to some other specialized material. And it started as one CD of PPC Journal and expanded to 2, 3, and 4, and I finally merged them onto a single DVD. So there was room to add his stuff, and he had 6 through 10, and I started trying to merge that into the disk and make everything accessible through the Acrobat environment, so you don't have to double click from Windows Explorer. And Jackie moved forward. He added more stuff, and I was trying to keep up with him, and then he realized that he was hoping to expand the project a little bit to include programs for the 6797 that were in the journal, printed with the blue thermal printer paper that made it very hard to read. And he was typing all these things in by hand, and we'll give you a little more details as we go. So that's the disk label, and everybody's got a copy in your envelope.
Thank you.
So,
and it's even better than we just said.
For those that are familiar with it, when you put it in and it auto starts and it puts up a page, and it used to show you 4 CD labels, and I changed it to rectangles because the labels don't mean anything anymore. So this is essentially all the material available on your disk. There's 30,000 pages of stuff. So we're going to concentrate on the upper left-hand corner, which is what used to be called CD1. PPC journal material, and then at the end I briefly go over some other stuff, and then Jackie's going to get up here and give some more details on the amazing work that he's done over 2 years to get this all done. I didn't mention that we finally did get it all finished. It was about the 10th of September, and then I started making the copies. So if you start and you click on that upper left-hand corner there, if you click on that rectangle, it will take you to a starting page. This is a piece of that page. This is a chart of every PPC journal from every year and every month, and if you click on any rectangle in there, it takes you directly to that issue. And me being sort of a user interface kind of guy, I want to make it as easy as possible to get around, and this was my approach. Well, go ahead.
Jake, I have got boxes with PPC journals. What am I supposed to do with them now that you put them all on the CD?
My address is in the packet right here.
Hey, this stuff's been on CD for like 15 years now, so
You really want originals?
sorry about that.
Sure.
Well,
Okay.
My wife might throw out my
in case the DVD reading technology is
So if you're on here and you happen to be smart enough to pick volume 6, number 4, which is a very special issue to me, it takes you to this page. This is the issue when the 41C was announced and the world changed. And essentially this is the Acrobat environment, and on the left you've got some bookmarks to jump around from volume to volume and issue to issue, and go back to the table where you can jump around, and some info and help. And on the right was the table of contents, and I had put links for each item, so that's what the blue rectangles are. So if you click on any of those, it takes you directly to the article and that sort of thing. And the bookmarks stay put on the left, so you can always navigate around and that sort of thing. So what we added this time around was one additional bookmark over there. It says Program Index. And on the individual pages where there were programs, you've got red rectangles around the program listings. And you can see how, if you look at the actual issue, you can tell that it was done from a thermal printout, and it is hard to read on the electronic copy for sure. But when you click on the red rectangle, it takes you to Jackie's program file. Okay, so these are the program files that he created by hand. There are 1,353 of these on the disk. He did them all by hand. That's 2 years of work.
Does the barcode
So,
work?
yes, the express intention of this effort was that you could print these files and the barcode would scan.
Can you scan your computer monitor?
We're working on that.
Well, I was going to say something later, which I keep hoping somebody will eventually do. Since people have recently done new programs for the PC to produce barcode, and there's emulators that run on smartphones, some smart guy out there has got to have the talent to produce an app for a smartphone which will scan HP-41 barcode into their emulator on the phone. Once that's done, the entire loop is closed, and you don't have to go back, with the wand if you don't have one, and that sort of thing. So one of these days, maybe we'll get there. So for each of these, I had to put in more bookmarks, and this is return back to the issue, go to the previous program, go to the next program, go to a program index, which I'll show you now, jump back to the jump table, and more info and help. So this is the original topology of CD1, which is the first quarter of the DVD. So you had the jump table, and this is what it looked like before, where you could go, volume to volume, which are the columns in the jump table, or issue to issue, or go back to here. So if this is sort of a representation of the issues on the disk, volume A plus 1, volume A plus 2, you had links between each issue, and you had links to go from volume to volume, forward or backward, and you had links to go back and forth here. So the idea was, I'm a guy for minimizing keystrokes, so this is the same exact thing. So when we added Jackie's material, this is the new topology of the disk. This is all the old stuff, and you magnify it to just issue n plus 1. And this is all the new material on the right-hand side, which got added. For each issue, there is a program index, and for each program index, there are links to all the individual program files that he created manually, along with bookmarks. Oh, and so from the issue, there's the program index bookmark. And then from the individual issues, you got bookmarks to take you between issues, back to the program index, or back to the jump table, or back to the issue itself. So there's approximately 8.3 links and/or bookmarks for each one of his files, which took me a year. Okay, so here's a sample program index. I picked volume 6, number 8, because it had a lot of items in it. And this was an outgrowth of a spreadsheet that Jackie had maintained with every issue and every volume and links to bring up the issues. And I wanted to get it into Acrobat, so I had to convert each set into a PDF. And these are live links. You click select, and it takes you directly to the program file. And from the program index, you can navigate to the previous or the next index, back to the jump table, do info and help, or return to the actual PPC journal issue. If you return from here, it takes you to the beginning. If you were in a program file and you return, it takes you right back to the program listing where the red rectangle was. So you could go back and forth. So I had mentioned briefly before that he sort of wanted to expand the concept of this beyond just HP-41. He thought there was a lot of stuff that was hard to read in the electronic copy, so he was hand typing those things in, and 67, 97 listings and other things, and more barcode where it was available. So I just have some samples of some of the other kind of files that are on there. This is an example from volume 12, number 5, page 3. It was an M-code security scrambler program, so he hand typed in the machine code just so that you could read it. And by the way, all these program files are searchable within Acrobat. Another example, this is a 6797 example, the Hangman word game by John Roush from volume 4, number 6. And I should mention, he had started with volume 6, but when we were done, he went all the way back to volume 3 and added additional material. So we really go from volume 3 all the way up to the end of volume 14. Another one, there were just tables of gobs and gobs of tables, and here's another guy from the who's who of PPC, Luke Hargile, who really discovered the innards of the 67 and 65. From volume 4, number 5, a table of the HP-67 internal codes, again hand typed in by this guy here. And then finally, there were some pure barcode samples that wouldn't read from the issues, so he recreated them, and this is one of the ones that was near and dear to my heart. It's from volume 7, number 6, 1980. Okay. Just for fun, here are the statistics. I actually have this on the disk as well in the info and help. The bottom table is the program files by volume and issue, totaling 1353. And the top is the actual number of pages in these files. When the program gets long, the program file gets long, and there's some as many as almost 40 pages in length. So 5,844 pages of stuff was added to the disk. We actually tripled the number of files on the disk with this material. Luckily, the individual files average not too large. They're all less than 100K. So just for the people who aren't familiar, I just thought I'd throw some other stuff in here. If you go to the CD2 choice, this is the CD2 material, the entire PPC ROM manual, all of the issues of the Computer Journal of PPC, Choose Chronicle, HPX Exchange, the HP65 Keynote, HP Keynotes, and all the relevant HP Journal articles scanned in. The third disc is the British data file from the HPCC group, which currently covers 30 volumes of material there, and the colors represent the colors of the covers, because every year they would switch colors. So, and again, it's a jump table. You click on any one, it takes you directly to the issue, and you can navigate forward and backward from volume or issue. And then 4, I want to talk a little bit more. Volume 4 was all the Australian publications, including the PPC technical notes, and then we added in all the calculator conference proceedings up to last year. And again, you click on any one of these, and these are all of Joe Horn's logos as he created them year after year. So I thought I'd make new use of them here. You click on it, it takes you to the proceedings. Some of them are as many as 500 pages. And in this one, this year, I think it was around February, Richard and I were talking on the phone, and I had included in the issue all the HP Solve newsletters. It was time to kind of get them, scoop them together. And he had suggested perhaps doing an index of the newsletter. So it was an adventurous process, really combing through them and working that out. So there's a link for the newsletter archive. There's also a conference index which was done this year. But in any case, you go to the archive and it takes you to a jump table for the HP Solve newsletter by year and by month. And if you go to pick an individual issue, this is issue number 19. I just wanted to let you know what happened. When I was doing this, I realized there was a significant number of, for lack of a better term, issues with the issues. Links were broken, it pointed to other places, there were typographical errors, the wrong picture occasionally occurred, and so I basically spent a long time and fixed all that stuff. And this is just one example. If you go online to the HP version and you see this article called Today's HP-41 User, look what's on the picture above it, an HP-35. So in my version, I got an HP-41 in the picture, which seems to make more sense to me. So again, you can go back to the index, you can go back to the conference, you can go previous or next issue back, and there are links all through here. You go back to the top of the issue and navigate your way around. So if you haven't seen the index, this is the first page of the newsletter index. What was done is, it was indexed, I did it in Excel, and then sorted by column in Excel, 5 different ways, by issue, by title, by author, by documentation type, and by calculator model, and then produced separate PDF indexes in each of those 5 categories. So I think each one is like 7 pages long. And so you can jump between them and then back again. And then finally, a conference index followed shortly after, and it's the same kind of thing. All the newsletter, or all the conference proceedings sorted by conference, by title, by author, by documentation type,
Crap, I didn't know you did that.
and by, that was earlier this year, and by what device it is. So if you want to know what talks Bill Wicks gave, you go to the author index and you look up his name, and it has everything in chronological order all together. You can't jump directly to those papers from here, because the plan was each year when a new conference occurred, you'd have to recreate the index, and to hand create all those links over and over and over again would just be a nightmare. So it at least tells you how to get there from here, and then you can go to that point from there. So go ahead.
Are you insane?
Maybe.
A little bit of
Is there
OCD.
anybody in here?
So we're up to 30,494 pages, and of everything. This is the whole DVD, and I hope you enjoy it.
Maybe for next year, we can try to spread around again the evil other competitors material, like we've done once before. Because there really doesn't seem to be a group of TI enthusiasts of our vintage of any sort that remember or even cared at all about the old machines, probably because none of them work anymore.
Yes, they do.
By the
Here's an
same
email.
token, all of the corresponding Learn and TI PPC notes and things like that have all been scanned. David Ramsey did a lot of them. That was how I first met David, when I said, "Hey, you got a scanner?" And I sent him a huge box.
Big box.
And
He's a really
very-
good recruiter.
He very helpfully did all that. But I mean, who else is going to ever keep up with that stuff if it's not us? And if TI had not been there, HP would not have been challenged. So even though we disparage them from time to time, or a lot, it's always good to have 2 competitors that keep challenging each other to do better. So maybe next year that's what we do, is we try to incorporate all the TI stuff as another disc or something.
There is supposedly.
Jake, he was volunteering.
All of that has been.
There is an
Just put it together
email,
on one CD.
a TI email list that's still going.
I've got the whole disc on my flash drive. If you want to explain it.
Is the junk table a PDF file?
Every single thing you see here is a PDF.
No.
All the links and bookmarks were created by hand. What I failed to mention was, with the 5,800 pages he did, I did 11,200 bookmarks and links. So,
From the homepage of
The CD,
because I opened mine up
Yeah.
here. All right, so let's say, for instance, I go into the PPC and I open up the HP-41 PPC. How do I go back to that page?
are you at the jump table?
Let me get back to it.
You go to the it says go to issues, and you get to the jump table, that thing. In the left, I didn't show the bookmarks here. There's a bookmark that says return to the disk selection page.
Let's see, go to pages. Okay, I'm gonna open up 6.4.
Now, you don't have to do that.
Okay.
But if you get back to this page each time, which is jump to issue, in the left-hand column in the bookmarks, there's a bookmark that says return to disk selection page. Do you see it?
Jump to issue.
Did you click on that?
Oh.
And it takes you back to here, right?
Yeah.
Now look on the bookmarks there, and there should, on the left, and it should be return to disk selection.
Yes.
Click on that, and take you back to that top page.
Okay.
Go ahead.
How much, in terms of space, how much of this is on a single layer DVD?
Yeah, we're using like 3.3 gig right now. There's still like another 1.2
1.7.
gig, 1.3 gig available.
Considering that a lot of modern machines have eschewed the optical drive, I was wondering if we might consider moving to a USB key for distribution for future releases. Just a thought. I know it costs a little more, but I'm sure we'd all be willing to pay it. Wait. Just a thought.
It's worth a shot. Oh, sorry. I'm going to turn it over.
Hi, I'm Jackie Woldering. I'll try to keep it brief. I know that this has been a lot of work the last couple of years. I typed in a whole lot of stuff. I typed fairly quickly, reasonably accurately. I went back and did a check over of all the programs. I did not test every program, so if it doesn't work and what you get in your calculator matches what's on the page, the original page, then talk to the original author. But if it's messed up or something, let me know and we'll straighten it out and fix it on a future revision of the disk. What I did on these, each program has a number, has a name on it. I wanted to include the machine that it was for, the title, the name, and who produced this, and PPC journal, what volume, number, and page, and the month, so you could get back to if you wanted to look at the original. Of course, I'm not including all the associated documentation with everything, so if somebody wrote there was a nice write-up about the program that you want to see, you should probably go back to the original journal page and look at that and read all that information. I assume that most of that was readable, and if a word was a bit off here or there, well, you could figure out that, blob ND was probably and or something, But in terms of a program, I thought I wanted to make this more accessible to everybody. So how many people out there said, yesterday when you were asked what's your favorite machine, held your hand up for HP-41? How many people? So we've got about 25% of the room, or maybe 30%. Okay. So a good number of people are interested in the 41, but you've got a whole treasure trove of programs here that were locked up in a way, or if you wanted to try them, you had to type them in and then go back and say, well, did I make a mistake here? Oops, I made a... And by the time you got done typing in, some of them were like a 500-line program with an associated 100 elements that you had to enter into a data file, and and by the time you got done correcting it and everything, you said, oh shoot, that was too much work. Well, I got a whole bunch of those tested, and I even made up some programs to load the data where there was 100 data items for somebody's adventure game or something like that, so you can just read barcodes in for that particular one, and then get the entire program in. I did not, again, check everyone for space and so forth. But anyway, here is the program, for example, and you've got a line-numbered program. This one doesn't have very many additional comments, but some of the other ones I added comments, or I took the original comments that were listed there. Each of these has a .dat file at the bottom of it, and what you want to do is, if you're using an emulator, you want to scoop this information at the bottom, put it into a notepad. Each line of the .dat file is 50 characters, with the exception, of course, of the last one, which is 50 or less. Put it into a notepad file, remove the carriage returns. So it's one big long string. If it's more than 1,024 characters, it will form multiple lines, as many as x divided by 1,024. Remove the carriage returns, and then go take Leo Duran's program, HP-41UC, a copy of which, since it's in the GNU public license, is included on the flash drive, along with the raw indexes and all the programs. They're on your HHC 2013 flash drive. I did not do, Jake has the links from his, but there's another copy of just all of the yearly indexes that I did with their links to the individual program. So if you want to jump in real quick and just grab a program and bring it out, you've got that facility as well. So take the program, run it through the HP-41UC, which is also available on Warren Furlow's site if you don't have it. For those of you who are watching this later on the YouTube, you can get that from Warren Furlow's site and just search for the word Duran, D-U-R-A-N. you can get this information into a raw form, a .raw form, so convert the .dat form into a .raw form following Duran's instructions, and then you can load it into one of your various 41 emulators, such as Warren's fine V41 emulator, or the V41, I think it's V41VBC.net, I believe. There's several different emulators out there. Okay, and the size is indicated on each of these, plus we had, I included another page, if necessary, with the name of the program, the number of registers needed, and then each of these is barcode. The barcode will print out in, and I'm assuming you all have a laser printer or can get to one. It prints out in a very nice form, and I found they're easily readable. Again, thank you, Leo Duran, for the work you did on that program. The HP-41 UC was the one used to print this. And I just wanted to make a quick note here. I just wanted to mention the following people: Richard Nelson, Jake Schwartz, Roger Hill, Richard Schwartz, Kiyoshi Akima, Jeremy Smith, Brian Walsh, Lodik Meyer, Jace, oh, I never, okay, Gene Wright, and Joseph Horn. That's fully 20% of this group who has contributed from programs here. And these programs date back 25 to 30 years, each of them. So this was an interesting archaeological expedition, but 20% of the membership here has been contributed. Did I miss anybody who contributed 41 program? Okay, but these are people I see in front of me. So you have a great variety of talent here. And Jake, I want to thank you again for the work you did in linking this all. I thought, when I started doing this, I thought you were going to tell me, you're crazy, why are you doing all this? And, forget about it. But I'm glad that you had some fun with it, and we had a good time. Okay, also on the discs, if you're interested, there is a complete, a couple things I did last year. There is a complete transcription of the VASM listings for the HP-41C and the HP-82-160, which is the HPIL module, both the printer half and the cassette half, or the mass storage half. So if each of those is listed in a directory on the thumb drive that you received. So those are all searchable PDF documents as well, if that's of any value, or again, if you wish to do some study on it. Okay, thank you very much, and appreciate help, and on to the next person.